Hi, and welcome to the webisode clay technique, coil. Coil is a technique that's used to take snake-like, rolled out pieces of clay and to create objects. You can use this for handles, you can use it for elements in sculpture, and you can also create vessels by coiling on top of each other. And this is something the ancient civilizations have done in clay for quite some time. To start, you're going to take your wedged ball of clay, and remember, when you have a piece this small, you can also do your wedging in your hand, where you're smushing the clay over and over until you get rid of all the air in it. The way I like to start these coils is to take my dominant hand, which is my right, and sort of spin it in my hand and get a shape that looks sort of like a hot dog to start. Just a round cylinder shape. And then you're going to set it on the table, and the idea is to roll it out until it becomes a thin coil. The first common mistake is always to roll just back and forth like this. And you'll notice your hands are a very bony structure. And if you go in the same direction over and over, you're going to end up creating those bone marks in your hand. The best way to hold your hands is a delta or a triangle, and you're going to roll this way so it's hitting all areas of your hand. Another common mistake is just to go back and forth, and you want to let this clay sort of roll out further so that it becomes a complete circle. If you don't go far enough out, you're going to end up with more of a cylinder with two flat sides when you're done. I'm going to take my hands, and the first couple I like to sort of just let it roll and let the clay get used to the idea of becoming that circle. And as you get better at this, you're going to be able to roll out and roll back down. And this is something that you pick up. I really am making this look a lot easier than it is. And you're going to take your clay, and every once in a while, I just let it roll and let the clay do what it wants to do. And the idea is to try to roll this out. Sometimes when you get this far, it becomes a bit too much clay to handle, especially depending on your work size. And if you take your needle tool, you slice it in half, you can make it into a thinner piece that's easier to work with. So one of the techniques is taking these coils and adding them on top of each other. So for example, if you were to coil them around, sort of like a basket would look like, you can create sculptures or vessels that are actually coils built on top of each other. What I use the coils most frequently for is creating handles or elements in my sculpture pieces. And if you take your needle tool and you shape the handle how you want it, and they're very simple to add a nice handle which you can then slip and score right onto your cup, or really any form can take it. And you can do all different shapes of handles, you can change the way they look, you can add different curls. So there's really an endless amount of ideas you can do with the coil. So it is a great technique to work.